Donald Trump appears to be getting something he has reportedly been demanding from his top law enforcement official. Attorney General Bill Barr is giving the go-ahead for federal prosecutors to look into allegations of voter fraud in the presidential election. We've been reporting on this for days now, Trump refusing to concede to Joe Biden while making baseless claims of widespread fraud. Ellen is in Washington. Ellen Morrow with more on these new moves from the Attorney General and the potential implications of them. Ellen, good morning.
Hi, Heather. Well, this was a memo sent out by Attorney General William Barr last night, and it authorizes prosecutors, federal prosecutors across the United States, to look into any credible allegations of voter fraud that would have altered or could have altered the results of an election outcome. Now, this memo does not list any specific evidence of voter fraud. It does not list any specific instances of voter fraud, and this is a reversal of a long-standing Department of Justice policy that says the agency should be hands-off in the period between the election itself and the results being certified in early December. It's so much of a departure from that long-standing policy that a man named Richard Pilger, who was the top elections crime expert at the DOJ, left his post last night in protest. Now, the broader context here is what you just outlined, the fact that for almost a week now, ever since the election was over, we've heard President Trump and his allies pushing these baseless allegations that the election was stolen or it was rigged or there was a widespread conspiracy to rob Donald Trump of a second term in office, allegations that have been provided and made without providing any evidence to that effect. This move by Barr will certainly be seized on by Donald Trump. In fact, it already has been seized on by Donald Trump, who was tweeting headlines about Barr's move last night because it allows Donald Trump to say the Department of Justice is looking into fraud, even though that's not exactly what's happening. Prosecutors have been authorized to look into possible instances of fraud. But no doubt Donald Trump will use this to fuel this narrative he's been trying to push. To go back to the allegations, just how baseless they actually are, just how little evidence has actually been presented. Yesterday, there was a press conference that was held by Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary, who is sort of moonlighting as a spokesperson for the Trump campaign itself. And she was listing these allegations of fraud. Fox News was probably the only network to actually carry that press conference, and it had to cut away because there just wasn't evidence being provided. Have a look at that moment.
We want every legal vote to be counted, and we want every illegal vote to be...
I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this. I want to make sure that maybe they do have something to back that up, but that's an explosive charge to make, that the other side is effectively rigging and cheating.
And again, there just hasn't been evidence for those claims. Important to point out that Fox News is normally a Trump-friendly network. While that moment did happen in the afternoon, Heather, yesterday, the primetime hosts that are watched by tens of millions of Americans were pushing these baseless allegations.
We are hearing, Ellen, from some top Republicans now who are throwing their support behind Trump in this fight against the election results. So what are people like Mitch McConnell now saying, and what could that mean for the transition?
Well, if there was any doubt, Heather, just how much of a hold Donald Trump has on the Republican Party, there's no doubt anymore. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell speaking on the Senate floor yesterday, refusing to acknowledge the results of the election. Here's what he said.
I believe the president may have legal challenges underway in at least 5 states. And President Trump is 100% within his rights to look into allegations of irregularities and weigh his legal options.
Now, of course, that is true. The president does have a right to do that, but it is also true that legal experts have said that any of these lawsuits are very unlikely to alter any of the results. Several of the Trump team lawsuits have already been thrown out. Contrast this all to 2016, Heather, as we were talking about yesterday. Donald Trump lost the popular vote by 3 million ballots in 2016. Democrats at that point did not, allege widespread fraud when the election was declared in his favor because of electoral college college votes, and he called that victory a landslide. Here we are 4 years later. Joe Biden is actually up by 4.6 million votes, and Republicans are refusing to acknowledge the results of the election. And this has a broader impact on the transition itself. It is hugely important that a transition happens as smoothly as possible so that a new government can be in place in January and ready to hit the ground running. The Trump administration is refusing to sign over millions of dollars to the Biden-Harris team to facilitate that transition. We also, through reporting, know that Joe Biden is not yet receiving a presidential daily briefing from national security officials, which is also hugely important to ensure that the new president is fully informed when he arrives in office in late January. So this resistance from the Trump team, from his allies on Capitol Hill, has really serious ramifications potentially for the United States come January.